Godzilla vs. Kong is a movie that was recently released, and I went and saw it. It was directed by Adam Wingard, whose work I've mostly enjoyed so far. Mostly. And I'm not gonna lie, based on the trailer alone, I thought it was gonna be trash. The only reason why I went was because I felt like seeing a new movie, and since I'm living in a country with 0 cases, I thought it would be fitting to go and see it in a theatre. My experience with the other films is admittingly pretty limited, considering I haven't seen Skull Island or King of Monsters yet. However, when I saw the Gareth Evans Godzilla film from 2014, I can remember not enjoying it. I felt about it the same way I feel about the early Fast and Furious films. It took itself way too seriously. Now, I'm not saying that blockbusters with a more serious tone are bad, far from it, but I do feel as though a film like Godzilla or King Kong work well when they are embracing their more goofy side. Similar to the latest Fast and Furious films, once Fast 5 became self-aware, there was no limit to how over-the-top and crazy the films could be, and it stopped wasting everyone's time. What made Godzilla vs. Kong so much fun is that within the first 5 minutes, the film established itself as a more light-hearted film. You were also immediately introduced to characters that are important to the plot, and it wastes no time in getting the plot moving and establishing all the characters' motivations. The film knows exactly what the audience wants and wastes no time in giving it to them. The film is dumb in the best possible way. It's not dumb in a Michael Bay sort of way where it's just stuff happening, and you as the audience can barely even follow along. It's dumb in a way in which you feel like a kid playing with toys, and that's not a bad thing. The actual fight sequences were extremely well put together and had both a sense of scale and a focused sense of stakes. It made it feel as though you were right in the middle of the action. The action sequences were coherent and well paced. Adam Wingard has spoken in interviews as to how he planned the action.
Because hearing the words Godzilla versus Kong, it reminds me of when I was like 4 years old and I pick up 2 toys at random, and it could be it could be like Buzz from like Toy Story, and then, you know, kind of like a Transformer, and I just sort of clashed them together like that. Did this almost feel like you were doing that on a much grander scale?
I mean, it was definitely the closest thing to playing with toys as being an adult. You know, I mean, actually, there was probably there was quite a few times in pre-production where I literally had a Godzilla and Kong toy that kind of were basically the right scale for what I was doing. And yeah, I would actually play with the toys and plan out a couple moments with that, you know.
The cast was great all around, and one thing I'm glad about is that the characters were all extremely fun and energetic to watch. Brian Tyree Henry was extremely funny as an eccentric conspiracy theorist. Millie Bobby Brown was not terribly memorable, however, her and Julian Dennison's back and forth made otherwise potentially boring exposition scenes a lot more interesting, and it was extremely refreshing to see Alexandra Skarsgård play a nerd. One thing I can remember not liking about the 2014 Godzilla, which I wasn't a fan of, was the fact that the characters, especially Kick-Ass, were very serious, lifeless, and dull. However, I'm glad to say that this movie does not have that issue. All of the characters were colourful, interesting, or at the very least, well fleshed out. The film also has a surprisingly tight script. The film sets up a joke involving sign language that has a very funny and touching payoff. That type of cleverness is rare in these types of films. I do, however, have some negatives with the film. For starters, there is a character that is introduced that is revealed to be somewhat of an antagonist, but is killed off pretty fast. Not long after they were introduced, in fact. It felt very pointless. However, all in all, I found the film to be extremely well paced, well directed, and pretty fun. It's somewhat disposable and by no means perfect, but it was exactly what it needed to be, and I will highly recommend this one, especially if you're able to see it on a big screen. My rating is probably a solid 6 out of 10. Till next time.